Hey NAI football fans, Corey Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIFBall Podcast, powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right, NAI football fans, Corey Thorpe here, back with another edition of the NAIF Ball Podcast. First one being recorded in the new year. Coach, did you get all your collard greens and black eyed peas and all that fun stuff in?
No, not at all.
Oh,
Just tried to. We like I told you before we started, we had a flu bug go through our house, so a lot of water, a lot of cooking that I'm not completely used to. God bless my wife, because I was scrummaging through stuff trying to figure something out for dinner.
oh,
So it's been an eventful 3 weeks to say the least.
we've got Reinhardt head coach James Miller here, and coach, let's hope that you prove all those old wives' tales wrong, and you still get all the luck you need through the sickness there. But it's another successful season for Reinhardt, another playoff berth. It seems like it almost seems at this point, and I hate to say it, but it's like, oh yeah, another playoff berth. Yeah, 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 yeah. How do you keep that one? How do you keep that fresh, but your messaging still consistent?
Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. It gets harder and harder every year. Um, it, it just it gets really tough to be able to do it year in and year out. We're very blessed and fortunate where we are. I got a great staff. I got our defense coordinator's been here a long time, Coach Blue. We got a new offense coordinator, Tyler Hennis, who did a great job for us. Um, I got great coaches that care about the kids, want them to do their best, um, and I got great kids. I got kids that want to work hard. Winning's important to them. Winning's important to me. It's important to our program. It's not what we're all about. It's not our end goal, but it makes it a whole lot more fun when you can do it. And we had some struggles this year. I mean, we started the year 2-2, and we had to battle through some stuff and figure out who we were and what we were made of, and to be able to get into the playoffs to have a shot. So it was an interesting year to say the least. But I'm a blessed dude, man. I'm at a great university with administration that cares, a staff that cares, and kids that care, kids that want to do well and want to please us.
So you mentioned that 2-2 start, and I had noted that, and they were close losses, uh, hosting Southeastern at home, at Cumberland's in Kentucky. You bounced back there with a close win over a really good Georgetown team. Their only blemish on the season, really. Um, was that kind of the jumping off point once you had beaten Georgetown into kind of jumping back into, hey, I think we can do this, guys?
Yeah, I mean, Southeastern was tough. We were up 20-6 at halftime and lost. Played probably our worst half of the year in the second half, and I don't want to take anything away from them. They did a great job, but we played really bad in the second half. And then we went on the road and played Cumberland's in a tough environment because it was pouring the whole game, um, and did not take care of the football in the weather, which ended up costing us the game. And then we had everything against us going into the Georgetown game. We were down 21-7 at the half, and our kids came out and battled their tails off in really the first half and the second half to find a way to win the game. We were trying to figure out who our quarterback was in all three games. We played two different kids in all three games, except for Cumberland's. We played one kid in Cumberland's game. So we were trying to figure that out at the time, and then we settled in on a guy against Georgetown, and then we played after Georgetown another really tough game against Pikeville, which went into overtime. Uh, Corey had a really good team up there. He has a really good quarterback that knows the system and knows what to do, and it was a heck of a ball game. Another game we had to come back and win at the end. We had to do a 2-minute drill to come back and win it to get it to go to overtime. So it was up and down battles all season, and made it fun at times, and made it very frustrating at times as well.
Yeah, Coach Phipps is just, it seems like wherever he goes, he's going to have, well, being an air raid guy, he's always going to find a good quarterback wherever he goes, whether it was Kentucky Christian, whether it was his time as an OC at Faulkner. The man likes himself a good quarterback. And Pikeville is definitely one to watch out for over the next coming years in the AAC. As it seems like maybe the AAC is starting to develop a little more depth to it with U Pike and what Coach Ziders is doing over there at Point and what the folks over at Bluefield are doing. You've got some good quarterbacks in this league between U Pike and Bluefield. Talk to me about helping establish a more deep AAC.
Yeah, I think the league has gotten better. I think adding U Pike definitely helped us. I think Coach Phipps has a really good product to sell up there. Bluefield obviously has uh, the quarterback. I think he's coming back next year again. And he's a really good player, a kid that will sling it all over the place. And I think Coach Phipps returns a lot of his guys. So it makes the league tough. Uh, Ziders over there at Point always has a really good defense. I thought they had one of the best defensive players we played all year in their defensive end, number 44, Cortez Thomas. He does a really, really good job. Um, I think the guy that took over KCU got put in a really, really tough situation, taking it over as late as he did. So I think they'll continue to improve. Um, and then you got St. Andrews and Coach Colvin's. He does everything he can with everything he's got. Um, so I think it's a league that's gotten better over the last couple of years, and I think it's going to continue to get better.
St. Andrews is absolutely a tough place um, to run a program with. No, nothing against them over there.
No,
I honestly have the utmost respect for them going in there and trying to make the best out of what they get. So you did end up finding your stride down the back stretch there on your AAC opponents, and then your season comes to an end there in Miami Gardens. Couldn't think of which suburb of Miami it was there for a half a second, and at St. Thomas, who was an absolute buzzsaw running the football.
yeah, they kicked our ass pretty much. Only way I can put it. Uh, they took it to us. I could have done some stuff better planning the trip. Um, Obviously, we could have played better. Our kids could have played better. Um, to be honest with you, I'm embarrassed and pissed off with the way we performed. Um, and it's actually got me really fired up to go into the off season because that's not the product I want to put on the field, and that's not what we've been about here at Reinhardt. and it won't be what we're about. And we as a group, from the coaches, from myself, it starts with me, to our players, have to do a better job, and will do a better job in 2024, because I don't want the season to ever end like that again. It was tough. It was a rough way to end the year, and all the credit goes to St. Thomas. They played a tremendous game. They had a really, really good football team, an outstanding running back. They were well coached, really fast on defense. Um, but we didn't play we didn't play well at all, and that doesn't fall on anybody but me. So it was a tough way to end the year, and as you can probably tell, I'm not very happy about it.
Well, I guess the good news, if you can call it good news, is that you've got a lot of players returning that that's going to be burned into their retinas, uh, and you definitely, at least on offense, are going to get a little bit of never again, as you're returning so much as it is there. If it's not your signal caller Taylor Jackson who is coming back, you've got two all conference running backs, including a first teamer, Jadavian Colbert. You've got Tyson Jordan, who is an all-purpose player. You've got three offensive linemen, including a first-teamer in Zach Lyle and a tight end there in Jake Wallace. Talk to me about uh, the next step to take with your offense.
We were really young on that side of the football. I mean, Zach was a first-year starter as a true sophomore. This was Emmons' first year starting. Our best offensive lineman got hurt last spring, didn't even play this fall. And Lorenzo Robinson, he's coming back for his, whatever you want to call it, super senior year. Um, this was Taylor Jackson's first year ever starting. Tredavian Colbert's first year ever starting. Um, Tyshawn Jordan was brand new to the program, coming from a junior college. So a lot of new faces on that side of the football, along with a new offensive coordinator. Um, we were doing the same stuff, but it's just a different voice, a different guy they got to get used to. It just changes things. So I think having the same coordinator, having these guys coming back, uh, fighting to get this bad taste out of our mouth, I expect a lot of things out of our offense. We still got to add some pieces. Um, we got to get bigger up front. We got to get bigger and thicker. Um, and we got to get taller and longer um, at receiver. I think those are two things. And then our running backs really got to get into the weight room. They're both very dynamic players. Tredavian Colbert's as good in space as anybody in NAIA, but he's got to get bigger and thicker to take the pounding more. And Ty McKee was coming off an ACL, um, and I think he hit his stride a little bit towards the end of the year, but I still don't think he was all the way back. And at our level, that usually takes a full calendar year to get a guy back where you really want him. But I think we got enough returning that, and with some continuity, calling the plays and doing what we do, that we got a chance to be okay.
Yeah, just looking back over my notes over the last few years, over the last two seasons, you've lost uh, three um, first team all conference offensive linemen. So I can definitely see where you were young across the front, and especially if you had an injury there where getting bigger, stronger, faster, especially up front, um, for especially a guy with your background is going to be something that you're really looking to push in the coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to push that hard, and we're going to push hard on us being a great football team and putting the team first and doing what's best for the team at all times. Those are going to be two things that we're going to get after in that weight room, and we're going to put the team first in everything that we do.
Defensively, it's kind of a tale of positions there where you do lose a lot of defensive linemen. 3 all-conference picks, including a first-team all-conference pick. And you'll lose a couple of DBs and Kellen Neal and Cam Brooks that, combined for 5 picks and 14 pass breakups. Nice to have back there on the back end. But you do return a lot on your linebacking core, whether it's Cortez Brown, the first-team pick, or Orlando Gandy Jr., the second-team pick. Then you've still got Keon McGee in your secondary, who is coming back off of a season where he had 5 picks and 6 pass breakups. Talk about what Coach Blue is looking to do to get the defensive line together and get better on the back half.
Well, we returned. Keon was actually the defensive player of the year in the conference. He's a really, really talented player. We got to figure out if we're going to leave him there or move him to a different position. Because there's a guy behind him named Markel Sutton that's played a lot of football for us. We got to figure out if he's either going to stay at that position or we're going to move him. It's either probably going to be one of the two. We're going to have to switch positions. Then we got a really good young safety coming back named Kamari Poe, who I think has a chance to be a special football player. We returned one corner named Brighton Peters from Norcross High School in Gwinnett County. That was a really good player for us, started the whole season. Orlando's back at linebacker along with Cortez, and both of them are good football players. They also got to get bigger and stronger. And then up front, we're basically revamping our defensive line. We were able to sign some mid-year guys to help with that transition. So we don't have to take all freshmen and rely on all freshmen. But we still got guys coming back. Nolan Marshall was a freshman for us that played a lot of football. Riley McKee was a freshman for us last year that played a lot of football. We call him Scrap. Nathaniel Sanford played inside for us and played a lot of football. So we have some guys coming back, along with some guys that we signed at the mid-year that will be here in about 5-6 days. I think we have a chance to revamp that whole group and be a formidable up front like we've always been, and then add the pieces that we have on the back end, along with Kamari Poe, Namari Jenkins, another kid that played on special teams for us and played in a backup role that I feel like can help us. So I don't think we're completely depleted. We still got to add some guys at the second signing day that we think can help us. But I like what we have coming back, and I like what we added at the break. And I'm excited to get all these guys in and get them in the weight room and get them going.
So one of the hard things about being where you are, your AAC opponents there, you've got North Carolina, you've got a couple Kentuckys, you've got Point that straddles the border, Kentucky Christian there, and Bluefield that straddles the border between Virginia and West Virginia. You've got a smaller conference, which means that you've got to find out-of-conference opponents. Last year, obviously, you have your first 4 opponents, and that's that 2-2 part of the schedule, opening up with Faulkner in Battle of the Eagles, Southeastern Cumberlands, and Georgetown, really hitting the Mid-South hard there. How do you find the right out-of-conference opponents? I know you've played Kennesaw State before, but it's a big boy school there.
Yeah.
You got to find the right opponents that aren't going to count too hard against you if you take a loss to them like a Kennesaw State, but balance that with getting battle tested. How do you find the right ones?
Um, it gets hard. With some of the success we've had, it's hard to find people that are going to play you. Now we have a scheduling agreement with the Mid South, so we would play Georgetown and uh, Georgetown, Cumberlands, and Faulkner again. We're just going to switch locations, and then we're going to go to Southeastern this year. So I think this year is pretty much intact. Now next year is where we're going to have to go find some more. Um, I'm always willing to play anybody. Um, I think possibly St. Thomas or Kaiser could be an opponent in the near future, early in the year. I think it would be a great matchup, obviously, and I think it would really help us let us know where we are, um, from a team standpoint very early, because those two teams are as good as we've played. They are two formidable opponents, and they really put a great product on the football field. So it would be awesome to play those guys maybe early and see where we are, or somebody else from down there, because they're always looking for games. It's hard for
Yeah.
them to find games. Along with the Mid South, I mean, it's going to be either the Sun Schools or the Mid South or some type of 1AA, that could possibly give you a money game or something. I mean, that's who we're going to play.
Heck, now you don't even have to travel out of state to get a Sun Conference opponent. You can just go down to Thomasville.
Yeah, that's another one, for sure. That's far. That's farther than you think, though.
No,
That's
I know. I've made the drive from Thomasville to Atlanta um, for the flag football national championship,
okay.
and y'all are up a little bit north of Atlanta there. So no, that is Georgia's a long state. People don't give it any credit for being a long state,
But
but
people don't understand how long Florida is.
that's true. Florida's
Like,
actually
I'm from
longer.
Fort Lauderdale, and everybody in Georgia goes on vacations at PCB,
Yep,
Panama City Beach.
yep.
And I tell people all the time, I've never been to Panama City Beach, never. And they're like, "You're from Florida." I'm like, "Dude, that was 10 hours from me."
Well, if you ever make it down to Panama City, that's where I grew up. Actually, that's my stomping
There you
grounds.
go.
I'll make sure you get hit all the good spots and don't get trapped into too many touristy spots. I mean,
There you go.
being from West Palm, you know, there's the people who come that know not to be touristy, and then there's the oh my goodness, look at those tourists. Um,
Oh yeah, you can pick them out quick.
yeah, they're always lobster red. Um, well, Coach, I know going into next year, you pretty much took my question right out of my mouth with what area of your program do you want to improve in 2024. I think you've said it a couple 2-3 times here. Bigger, stronger, faster, and develop that uh, team over self. And that starts early, from when you get your freshmen in to when you start spring ball. What does that look like, especially in the weight room, as you've got these guys? Some of these guys are off season. How do you start preaching that team message there?
I think it's an everyday thing. I think it's got to be everybody involved in your organization. From I set the standard, and then everybody's got to fall in line with it, from the coaches to the players to our leadership. Um, Everybody's got to be involved in it. Our strength coach, And it's got to be something that is bought into at all times. And if our players will do it, then our other players will follow. Any great football team is always led by players. It's not led by coaches. You got to have player-led leadership. I don't like when people say that's lost. Well, it's our job to develop that, and I've got to do a better job of doing that this season. And it's something I've studied over the break, and we're going to really dive into it deep and try to get this our player leadership better than what it's ever been. And it's important to me. It's important to our staff, and we, I feel like we're at a school where I feel like we can compete for national championships, and we should be competing for national championships. And the way the season ended last year has really left a bitter taste in my mouth, and it's something that I want to get corrected quickly and swiftly. And I want every kid, every coach on our staff, every kid in our program to be bought into doing what's best for the team and no other reason. And when you have that, that's when you have great football teams. I think any good football team, the two teams that played last night, are a bunch of teams that don't care who scores touchdowns, don't care who makes a sack. All they care about is winning. And that's what it's got to be about all the time. So we're going to do everything we can this offseason to ensure that that happens.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming back on. It's been this is our 5th interview. Can you believe that? Like,
Wow,
I know,
crazy.
right? And it might even have been more than that. I don't. That's just how long I've gotten notes back for.
Wow.
We've been doing
I
this.
remember doing one during COVID.
Yeah, that's the one that
So,
That's the first one that I've got, and I know we did them before that. So this might be our 6th or
wow.
this might be our 6th because I don't think I kept notes. That was a
Wow.
really good squad talking about Kenneth Lowry and Kellen Neal um and all those guys.
Kellen was a really good player. He was a 5-time all conference guy.
Yeah, it was. That was
I don't know too many people that can say that.
Oh man, Otis Odom there, the return. Yeah, I'm just looking over the list that I've got
Otis
here.
Odom. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was fun, and so thanks for repeatedly subjecting yourself to this through all of
Absolutely.
these
No
years.
pride. Nah, I love what you guys do. I love you guys promoting our great sport. I love promoting NAI. It's a it's a really, really good football that gets a bad name for some odd reason, just because it's not NCAA. It's really damn good football, and people need to know about it. And the stuff that you guys do only help that. So I'm always willing to come on here and talk ball and talk about our university. And I just appreciate you guys a lot.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIAFBALL Podcast, powered by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. Thanks also to our newest sponsor, Telemetry Sports. If you enjoyed the show, subscribe to the podcast and to our YouTube channel, and leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIAFball and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.